Wow! It's 2 minutes to late night!
All right, what's up, Ants on a Log? Welcome to Pod Minutes to Cast Night, the 2 Minutes to Late Night podcast. It's only me and Jeremy right now. So we have two guests joining us. We have, again, from the last episode, Alex Clute.
Hi there.
And we have a new guest, future cast member and original pilot producer, Nadia Congianes.
Oh, hey, guys.
Welcome. You guys can give yourselves some credits, too. Alex, what are you doing right now? What's going on?
Oh, God, nothing cool. We just wrapped Gethard Show, which I play guitar on, and I sub in with various pop-punk bands every now and then. That's sort of my deal.
Interchangeable pop punk, Alex Clute.
That's about it.
Yeah, just like a...
I got me a Mustang bass and a Fender Telecaster. My name's Alex Clute.
Just a Warped Tour trading card.
Yep.
And I was just thinking of I was trying to think of a pun for like a pop punk Eli Whitney because the interchangeable parts.
I immediately, when you said pop punk Eli Whitney, I thought of I don't know why I thought of just like probably the bassist of Newfound Glory, that guy.
His name probably is Eli.
Yeah, and Eli on bass. He's not wearing a shirt.
That's the guy who was in Shai-Hulud, right?
I have no idea.
That's Chad, the guitarist of the Paramore husband, right? They're married. I have a weird...
idea.
Oh, my God. That made me feel so old. I have no idea what's happening anymore with those people.
I know weirdly way too much because I play in a pop punk karaoke band, probably.
Fair enough.
People have just given me like the history of whatever. Like I know all the character bios.
That's really funny.
All the stats.
Yeah, all their beginning move sets.
Yeah,
their blood types and favorite snacks.
Yeah.
Yellow Card starts out with like Ember and Scratch, but like once they get to that second album, like they start to get like Flamethrower and stuff, and it's pretty sick.
Yeah, Chad from Newfound Glory started as a pawn Shai-Hulud singer, and then he leveled up and got like a marriage Minera, whatever.
All I'm thinking about the whole time you guys were talking was like white belts and checkered Vans, and that's just what all of that is to me.
That's very accurate.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, we're back for part 2 of our takedown of Graves era Misfits.
Yeah, this is the second and last album. How long was it since American Psycho? And what? Like this is 98 or 99?
I think this is 2000 or 2001, I think.
Really?
Well, because Graves left for a little while and came back in either 1999 or 2000.
What?
Yeah, Graves took like...
This is 99.
Okay, all right. Yeah, he took, I think, in between, 98 or like most of 98, he took off and then came back. Not took off and like they replaced him with a singer, I don't think, but he like took a break, basically.
Yeah, because he was not... Nada, you weren't here for the first part of this, where we listened to American Psycho, the first album with Michael Graves. He was literally just like a hire. He went to a job interview to sing for the Misfits.
Yeah.
They're like, you fit in. This is fine.
Yeah, he was there through his temp agency. They placed him there, and they were like, it's a temp to perm sort of a contract, but he like really impressed them on the first few weeks.
Yeah, he's permalance pretty much.
Oh, man.
And this confirms it. Like he just like, I'm taking a year off, you guys.
Totally, yes.
Yeah, he's not really a spooky boy. Really, it doesn't seem like he cares about a lot of this. Like he was just like kind of a punk. He was a studio singer.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Who just had a beautiful voice, and you can hear that on this album. So I took like the devil's advocate position on the last podcast. Like I didn't really like American Psycho.
Yeah, maybe before we get into talking about this album, maybe we should talk about sort of like the narrative arc of our decision to come to this.
Yeah.
Because what had happened was that we had decided that we were going to do American Psycho, and we had seen a lot of comments on our, YouTube and Twitter and stuff saying that we should do sort of just like the Graves era in general. And so when we decided to do American Psycho, we decided that we were going to do Famous Monsters as well, kind of with the understanding that they both would be bad.
Yes.
And
I expected them both to be bad.
Yeah, and we generally, I think, at the very least, the consensus of the last episode was that American Psycho is not great.
No.
It's good. There's parts of it that are cool. It's not great.
Here's the thing. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
I didn't.
I ended up somewhere in the middle. I started out not liking it. Alex convinced me that I do like it.
I would say that it is good, even though it's not good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Well, yeah. The thing is, like, it's the consensus we came from is they were trying so hard to sound like Danzig era Misfits, and it just felt pretty hollow. It was like, I guess mathematically, this is a Misfits album, and he doesn't sound bad, and nothing really sounds like it shouldn't. It's just we decided that I don't know. It's just like a weird PG-13 version of the Misfits that it didn't. You don't really like. Like the Misfits are good because it sounds like a haunted recording, and it's just a 15-year-old screaming about like "fuck you, I come weird." Like that's it.
Yeah. So then we came to Famous Monsters, and during this past week in between recording these, Jordan and I have been texting each other constantly about this album.
Really?
Yeah, I really liked it. I really
love
liked it. I think
so good.
Yeah, fucking Famous Monsters rules. It's the best.
here's the thing. On paper, it should be this. The only thing that's on paper really different from this album to the last album is just that they mixed his voice at the top of the record as opposed to the middle of the record.
Yes.
Like
Although
he's just on top of the instruments. Otherwise, it sounds exactly like the mixing is exactly like American Psycho. Like you could shove both of these albums together. Mix-wise, it sounds the same.
I only slightly disagree in that I think you were correct when we were talking about it last episode that they sort of went for that almost like trashy Misfits sound. Mm-hmm. And this is just like compressor on compressor on compressor. It's so polished.
Yeah.
The low end is like so present. Everything is panned exactly the same every single song. It's like so sparkling clean.
Yeah.
The production.
None of this matters to Naughty. Naughty is going to be filling in the position for like Lucy. So you tell us about your like history with the Misfits.
I only listen. Okay, so I didn't listen to any cool music growing up. I didn't know anything about anything. I lived in a really small, shitty town, and we had one radio station. So Jordan actually introduced me to the Misfits like 11 years ago. Mm-hmm. And like the only other thing I know about the Misfits is just like all the cool girls I liked that band. And so like that's all I know about the Misfits. And then I saw them live like last year, and it was like one of the coolest shows I've ever seen. It was so fun. But I don't really know that much about them or their music.
What do you think about? Because I've shown you like Danzig era Misfits.
Oh, yeah.
Do you care about it at all? You don't have to.
I don't really like. It's a lot of fun though. Like I really like the songs are just always like fun to me and cool and like. You know, I get the whole like, you know, reminiscent of like horror movies and like all of that fun stuff, but it's just not something that I like really get into. I don't know, I like weird shit.
Yeah,
like
what is your music taste generally?
I mean, literally like Jordan knows I like Queens of the Stone Age is my favorite band. I love stoner rock. I love like High on Fire and Converge and like all of those things and like Sleep and all of that stuff. And then like, you know, every once in a while, I'll just like listen to Enya and drive her out.
Hell
like,
yeah.
I just like, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And like,
Enya's sick.
Yeah.
I was in an Uber the other day, and they were literally playing, what is it, like, Here come women.
that's like all of her songs. It's just like,
I don't remember, like, that song fucking slaps.
oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
Time After Time. It's a great song.
I don't think I know an Enya
It's
song.
also,
Yeah, me neither.
you don't know that?
I know what an Enya song sounds like, but I don't think I know.
Yeah, right. I could
Yeah.
do an impression of an
song.
Enya
Yeah,
song. I
sure.
don't think I know an Enya
Yeah,
song.
it's just
Everybody
like- It
do
just
an
sounds
impression
like-
of an Enya song.
Well, it's just Kate Bush with no drums.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like an oh my god.
That
It's like an owl in a hallway just echoing. Like that's just what it is. And then like a mime
It's
comes
a
out
big
of a
owl
corner.
in a small hallway.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I smoke a lot of pot. It's cool.
Danzig Misfits just sounds like cartoon bats getting drunk and singing. Like, it sounds like if there was like a Fievel Goes West, but with bats, and they were all drunk and in a bar and yelling, like, that's what a Danzig Misfits record
It's
sounds
like
like.
Batty from Fern Gully.
Yes!
Just goes to New York.
Yes!
And scares a bunch of chicks.
It's so funny because I think Graves era is if you like cut to like the evil plotting spider of the same Five Goes West.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
I reference that spider constantly.
I love
I'm
that
always
spider.
talking about that spider with the mustache.
He
it
rules.
makes no sense. I love it.
He's great.
I love that spider.
I was gonna say that the Graves era is like Fievel Goes West if they redesigned Fievel to look like handsome Squidward.
I'm thinking that it's actually just guar for bar mitzvahs.
Sure.
Like, that's really
Guar
like,
mitzvahs.
Yeah, Guar Mitzvah.
Guar mitzvah. Yeah.
How have we not done that on the show?
I've
How
seen
have we
that.
not done guar mitzvah?
Guar mitzvah's fun. No, but you're correct.
Arsenio's bar mitzvah. That's
Corey-
happening.
Yeah, Cannibal
my
Corey
God.
has to have a Guar Mitzvah.
Oh, can I play your mom?
That's really what should happen. But that's why I think this record ultimately works, is that they aren't trying to be a cool band anymore.
No.
They're accepting that they should be like playing in like a rainforest cafe that's just Halloween themed. Like,
Totally.
they should just it's Senior Frog. They're the Senior Frogs spooky band. Like, they play every now and again. Someone does a conga line and they're like, enjoy the chili fries. Goodbye.
Yeah, we were saying earlier while we were listening to this that it's kind of like part of what works about this is that this is when they stop trying to sound like the Misfits, and
Yeah.
then they just inadvertently sound like the Misfits.
Yeah.
I was telling Jordan it sounds like a Misfits cover band was trying to write their own originals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
it's
God,
kind of
that's
like
so
that.
good. Yes,
Yeah.
I think that is basically what's happening.
That is absolutely what's happening. But that's also just like any band that's like I had a friend growing up who was like, "Oh, you like the Misfits and like you should listen to like other horror punk, and all of other horror punk just sounds like this."
Yeah, Balzac sounds like this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, like there was that band like Calabrese.
They're named after,
Yeah.
they're just exactly the Misfits.
Calabrese is not a fun word to say.
No.
You should not be a band called that. Get the
Every
fuck out of
restaurant
here.
makes you say it.
I know. Get the fuck out of here. But no, this album opens the same way as the last record, but then it goes into Forbidden Zone, and it's just exactly what it should
God,
sound like.
Forbidden Zone is so good.
It's just like it's about nothing. It's just like it's
Yeah.
about the movie Forbidden Zone,
Yeah, it's
which
so-
no one's seen.
It's so
you just
good.
know that it's just like they're leaning into like, yeah, we're Mystery Science Theater. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And he's jaunty. He's not trying to do a Danzig impression. There are no woes on that song. It's just like it's jaunty. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just like a soft, just like none of this fucking matters. Who cares? They wrote the song. They wrote like it sounds exactly like Astro Zombies. Like the
Totally.
beginning of that song is 100% just Astro Zombies. I'm pretty sure the band, like the boys, came in, recorded the music, then they left, and then Graves came in and was just like, okay, I'm just alone in the studio. Oh man, that's like he didn't give a shit. He didn't give a fuck. He sang his parts. He's singing so well on this
It's
album.
unbelievable.
He's singing his ass
voice
off.
is insane on this.
I'm actually curious. Nadi, which voice do you like? Just since you don't really have an emotional attachment to the Misfits, do you like Graves' voice or Danzig's voice better?
I like Danzig's voice because it's goofy.
Yeah.
I just can't but I did notice I don't know if this is like a good analogy, but it kind of sounded like the Paul Stanley of the group was just like, I'm going to make a vocal performance because it's so operatic in parts.
Yep.
Like it's like he's just going for it in
Yes.
songs. I was like, all right, like that's impressive.
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah, like it's very he's so. You can tell that he's just like a studio singer because he's so musical theater about it half the time. Like
Yes.
Pumpkinhead is a song I realized when I was listening to it. I was like, he's doing like a spook, like it's just like Like that's exactly like what in The Little Mermaid, like Ursula's spooky verses.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, you can see his
Yeah.
choreography, right?
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
see him doing that song as he like walks across the stage, doing like a little ball change every 4 steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And he's
imagine
like looking out to the audience, telling them like what the show's gonna be about.
that is exactly how I imagine that, except for
Yeah.
everybody else on stage is a little kid in a shitty costume.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Michael Graves is the only adult in a children's production.
Yeah,
of
he's
a
just like,
musical.
we're doing this my way.
He's the high school drama teacher who
Yeah.
convinced the kids
Yeah.
that it would be cool if
The
he was in the
principal.
show.
Yeah,
Exactly.
really taking it over.
If you take the same melody of Pumpkinhead and you turned it into like a woman doing opera, like it sounds like a woman doing opera, like of like a popular, like maybe like a rap song or something.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
yes.
Yes. Gin and juice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a YouTube cover video.
It's
yeah.
absolutely just like an operatic YouTube cover
Yes.
video.
Well, I think the reason he's singing his ass off so hard in this record is, so he did take that little break, which who knows why he took. Well, probably we all
We
know
should
why.
Google that, maybe. We
Yeah.
should have Googled that.
I'm-
We didn't Google it.
But you would have to imagine it's 1999 at this point. He's already, I assume, taken some flack for being not Danzig, which anybody would have in that
Yeah.
position, I'm sure. So it really feels like probably them as a band, but specifically him walked into this record like, I need to throw down. Like I have a lot of criticism being flung my way, and I got to sing my ass off, and he really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his vocals sound motherfucking beautiful on a lot of these songs. Like
So
there's
great.
not like it's weird that he's like coming into like I think he is like unquestionably a better singer than Danzig.
Yes, 1,000%.
1,000% because he's doing all of the things that Danzig does, but it sounds good.
Yes.
Like on this, like when Danzig does stuff, it's just like there are so many questionable parts to like Danzig music, like
Well, yeah, no. Yeah.
and when Graves does it, it's just like a
Yeah.
but it sounds sick.
Yeah.
But I don't like it
Yeah, it's like-
as much.
Of course.
It doesn't resonate with me.
It's
in
not
the same
as-
way.
yeah, it's
because,
not as punky.
all of the Danzig screams you could cut out of the song and then put into a movie as like the sound when
As
somebody
the-
gets
as, like,
thrown off
yeah.
a cliff. It's like it's like a
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm scream,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And whereas Graves is just actually singing.
Yes.
And so it's not like, I don't know, there's something like comforting and familiar about a Danzig scream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every Michael Graves outro is him saying the line of the chorus a little bit higher or
Yeah.
something, you know?
Yeah.
Nah! You know, like that's him. And then Danzig is always like, whoa! Like this.
Yeah, it's I love that Danzig screams are Doppler effect.
Hope that translates.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we're all just sitting here pulling the mic forward towards our faces.
But then also doing
Nadia,
the
do
Doppler
what?
effect voice. No. I got nervous.
Okay, you don't have to.
It's just like, yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
Just like a sad ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
meant to sound like he's coming at you.
I will say that I think the closest Graves era Misfits has come to sounding like Danzig Misfits, and it working is Living Hell. I think is the best version of like a Graves era Danzig sounding Misfit song. Does that make sense?
I think
Did
so.
that sentence work for anybody?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Although, if I'm being honest, I see, because it's so clear that he just sort of was thrust into this like spooky role that was maybe not his. Like you sort of see him stealing little flavors all over the place for both of these records. You know,
Yeah.
We were even talking. It didn't even occur to me that one of these songs is exactly All Hell Breaks Loose until you guys said it, and then I was like,
Hot take.
yeah.
80% of this album is All Hell Breaks Loose.
You were insane. It does not sound like that at all. What the fuck?
80% of this album is All Hell Breaks Loose, but that's a good thing because I love All
No,
Hell
this is
Breaks
a
Loose.
fucking no.
I do disagree.
I was on the way over here. I was listening to the album again when I ran into Alex on the train.
Yes.
But I was listening to Dust to Dust. And in the same I was listening to it, and literally as I saw you, I was thinking to myself, like, Wow, Dust to Dust sure sounds like all hell breaks loose.
That's really funny. But no, I think
I don't think it does.
I think-
Living Hell sort of does.
yeah. And I
but-
think you're right that it's more. They're just right out of the gate. They're kicking down the door with Astro Zombie style Misfits, like fun poppy Misfits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
but
there's
and then it just goes into just like you're like, okay, we're just at a drive-in movie theater. I
Totally.
guess. And there's for some reason a band, and they blew out their speakers. Like the guitar's a little too hot. Like you can't tell them like, hey, turn your tone knob.
You're just like, we didn't even pay
Get
for
some
this.
trouble
I
in
didn't
there.
want to be here.
That's true. The guitar sound on this is
awesome.
it's bad.
It's
I don't like
awesome.
it.
I think it works a little bit. Like it's funny that this sounds exactly like the last record. What are you
Yes,
talking
I don't
about?
No,
like the guitar sound on the last
no.
record either.
It's better.
It sounds. They
Well, what do
both
you
sound
want?
like he bought the guitar at Home Depot. Like it doesn't sound like a good guitar. It sounds like it's meant to fix your
It
house.
sounds like he
Right.
pulled it out of like an ocean or a puddle or something. You know what I mean?
Ocean,
It sounds like
like
the
Lady
pots
of the
are
Lake,
wet.
but with a guitar.
It doesn't sound
What
like
do you
he
want?
pulled it out of the ocean. If anything, it sounds like he found it in the desert.
Yeah,
Well,
that
what
could
do
be
you-
It is not wet at all.
What do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want? What do you want a Misfits guitar to sound like? Because it's never.
I want it to sound like I mean, it's never good. It's never good. That's the thing. Is Misfits guitar tone is never good.
But that's the point.
I guess that's the point, but like I guess I don't want it to sound like Misfits guitar. I want it to sound like a human guitar with strings instead of like one sound. That's the thing is
I
it
think
doesn't
this
you
is
can't
exactly
hear
how
a
it-
chord. You can hear like like
It's just a
the
wall.
level of distortion turns into a wall. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. They got 3 giants to play on this record. Like just the
they
drums.
just hit the biggest string
Every
in the world.
time you hit the tom, it's just like the biggest fucking sound. It rules so hard. And then what happens? You're like, oh, this lead singer is gonna be like the biggest guy ever, right? And then he's like, upon the threshold of desire. Like it's crazy.
quite small.
It's crazy. It's crazy how charming that is.
I think it's. I think it. I don't know. I think this is exactly what like a '90s Misfits guitar should sound like. We talked about it. Like the best version of '90s Misfits is AFI.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
what that
Totally.
should have been for sure.
Like Jade Puget can't have a wall sound guitar.
No, he's
You
got to be
can't-
cool, you know? Which these guys I think we've zeroed in that it's not cool.
No, the Graves era Misfits is just not cool at
But they're
all.
closer. They're
rules.
closer on this.
No, I think it's better because it's less cool.
Oh, that's
I think
weird.
that they are leaning into the fact that like fuck it, we're not cool,
But
we
that
are.
makes it cooler.
I agree.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. It's somehow cooler. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I just like I'm mad that I didn't listen to the other album now because now I have nothing to compare it to. But I agree that it's so wonky and weird in so many parts of the album that it's like when you watch like a B horror film and you're like, I know this isn't good, but I really like it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
which is exactly what they're just they're steering into the fact that like we're like this is goofy.
Yes.
Like last album, they tried to be cool and it wasn't, and now they're not trying to be cool and it works. It's
Yes,
better. I
they're
like
cool.
it.
This is them making the conscious decision that they don't sing about B horror anymore. They are B horror.
Yes.
Right? That's what this is.
Which
Oh, that's
even down
dope.
to the title,
Yeah.
Famous Monsters. Like we do not sing about monsters. We are straight up monsters.
and then the video is them
Yeah,
and zombies
totally.
fucking up a hospital.
And then
And everybody looks like it was just a friend they found that was like, do you have time to be in this movie?
You
And
know,
like,
nobody
yeah.
can act.
No,
Yeah.
it's great. I
Yeah.
love it.
You know when he's like, I bet there's like a behind the scenes of this where they were like really excited when Doyle got to do the tearing of the
Right.
of like the curtains. They were like, that moment is just perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, oh man.
Oh, man,
When
when he's
Doyle
just
got to rip that sheet, oh man, I was like, that sheet, that's
Tom
That's
Savini
sick.
was so excited. He was like, "This is perfect. This
Yes.
is a perfect role for you."
My favorite
just-
part of that is the nurse because she's she's obviously trying so hard to look scared in it, and it just makes it so much goofier
And the
of her like
idea
tearing
that
through the
nurse
sheets.
Because the nurse is scared the first time when she pulls the sheet off of a dead body.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
she is a professional nurse. You
Worst
imagine she's
nurse.
seen her share of dead bodies.
Right.
Yeah,
She should just be
We
like,
weren't
"Ah, dead
prepared
punk
for
person,
this."
sure."
Oh no, a dead body.
A dead punk. Well,
she's scared of just I don't know, like the body of a 40-year-old man, like who's just dressing like that still.
It's like, oh my god, what happened to you?
You are too old for this outfit. That's what's really terrifying. I
You shouldn't have a devil lock when it's mandatory for your hairline.
Here's the thing. I also realized watching this video, looking at Doyle, I was like, that's what I've tried to have the top of my head look like ever since for 5 years.
That's so funny. You love that
Counterpoint.
haircut. You were talking about it last episode too. You love that haircut.
I love Doyle because it's perfect. It's exactly what they're trying to look like.
I think Michael
it's
has
still
the best
goofy.
hair. Michael definitely has the best hair.
Counterpoint. Doyle's hair looks like a fucking bird, and it doesn't look like a good bird.
Yeah,
That looks like a bad bird.
I agree. It looks like a bad
who,
bird.
Comes over to your blanket when you're having a picnic and steals your sandwich.
That was a B-side
I agree,
for this
but what
record.
is it
A
supposed-
bad bird.
Well, there's a bad bird going around.
I just think for what the haircut they're going for, I'm like, I mean, yeah, they're all trying to do what Doyle's do. Like Doyle came in,
Yes.
and it's like, this is what it's supposed to look like, and it does. It looks
that's
like
his
a bird
whole
and an
mold.
anteater at
Yeah.
the same time.
Because he's also got the best body.
Yeah,
He's got the best body. He's got the
everyone's
best
just
version of the
jealous.
makeup.
Dude, Michael has the best body. Michael is the hottest person in this band.
Listen, you can both have crushes on different people. Like some people liked AC Slater, some people were Zach people.
Well, what are their
You can
roles?
have different opinions.
What are their in terms of if we're thinking about this in like a Backstreet Boys scenario? Where
Oh,
there's,
man.
there's pretty boy, there's young boy, there's like bad boy. Like who's the bad boy of the group?
Probably Jerry, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jerry.
Jerry, but he's
But
bad.
Jerry's
He's
got
not bad
everything.
like rebellious. He's bad like somehow Jerry is the Misfits' own manager that's fucking them over.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You are so correct.
I was gonna say Jerry is like a landlord in Lodi,
Yeah.
New Jersey. He really owns a
listen.
couple of buildings and he like shows up in the makeup to collect rent.
I don't want to hear it. You own me.
Doyle is the
Yeah.
hot but dumb one.
Yeah.
Sure,
You know
yes.
what's weird about it is
Hot
Doyle
vegan.
is the guitar player, but he's the hot one who doesn't write anything. Like, it's usually the bassist. He is
that's
somehow
hot.
the guitar player, but he's also the bassist of the band. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
I
the
get what you
Ramones
mean.
were like too.
Did
The
Johnny?
Ramones, Johnny
didn't write
Johnny
shit?
wasn't the main songwriter. Dee Dee was the kind of like the main songwriter.
That's
of the
so
group, as I
surprising.
understand
You
it,
look at
least.
Dee Dee and you're like, he doesn't even know where he is.
I know, right? And then you think of like Dee Dee King, and you're like, how?
Oh my god.
How did this?
you guys
happen?
got to do that
Speaking
record?
of
Jesus.
of song, how many takes do you think it took them? How many takes do you think spliced together is the solo of "Descending Angel"? Like, there's no way he came in and nailed it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Definitely
like,
not. I will say though, the rest of the record sounds like they're recorded in about 45 minutes. You know?
Yeah, but they spent a lot of time on that song. I think that's why it's my favorite of the Graves era songs, is because there's just like it. I shouldn't like it based on who I am.
Right.
I should not like that.
That's
song.
so funny.
It's really funny. Like it's just everything about that song in other music. I wouldn't like it. Like I wouldn't like that the chorus, that the entire song is just those three chords.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's the intro. It's the
Yes.
verse. It's also the chorus.
Yes.
And then it's a band with a guitar player that doesn't play solos playing a solo.
Right,
But
yeah.
for some reason, this is my favorite thing that these 5 gentlemen have done together.
Right. And
Well, 'cause
we.
that's the one that also has that like cool little walking bass line.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like the
my
height
God.
of like anime rock. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about like it sounds like an Americanized version of like the end of an anime movie.
I was just
Yes.
gonna say it's not the opening of the anime; it's the end,
Yes.
where it's like all the dramatic, like whatever in the
Yeah, like
background and the
still
credits
shots
roll.
Of
Yeah,
Lorena Peacecraft.
there's right. There's
Yeah.
there's like blossoms in the wind
Yeah.
somewhere.
Totally. A little.
She's
a
like
little
leaning
leaf.
on a tree.
Someone's like
Yeah.
looks up dramatically, like
Yeah,
it's totally
totally.
that.
100%. That's what it is. Yeah, it's like it's literally. It could also be the credits too.
Yeah, it's the credits
Yeah,
of an
that's what I
anime.
mean.
Yeah.
this-
Oh,
it's
yeah.
The
You know-
closing credits of Gundam Wing is
Yes.
all Relina Peacecraft, and she is just like
Yeah.
leaning against a tree. She's sitting by a lake.
Yeah.
You see no Gundams.
No, nothing's happening. It's just about her, even though she hasn't done anything up until like episode 30 in that series.
Yeah, like if
Yes.
you were watching Adult
This is
Swim.
balling out super now.
Sorry, sorry. I'm gonna go on that show next.
You should. It would make a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't know anything about anime, but
That's okay. You don't
this
need to
immediately
ever.
What I thought of like when I heard that song, I was like, this sounds like anime. It felt like watching anime, and I felt like I understood anime.
Of course.
For the first
Oh,
time
man.
in my entire life.
Well, can we go through? I think we were all agreeing as we were listening to the record just now. There are some just smash fucking hits, some pop fucking beauties on this one. What?
Dust to Dust whips
Dust
so
to
much
Dust
ass.
Dust to
is
Dust rules.
so good.
Dust
that-
Dust rules.
I genuinely think that like if they like came out at a bar, like people would be happy about. Like I actually think if you don't like Saturday Night, you're a fucking poser. I think if you don't like that song, if that song comes on and you don't want to sing it, you're being a fucking poser. Even if you like the Misfits and you don't like that song, you're a fake ass bitch.
Yeah, it's the logical conclusion of their entire career.
Yes.
That should be the closing song in this record, and they should have broken up.
Yep.
That's how
They were
their
like-
career ends. They shouldn't have done Project 1950. This should have
Yeah.
been Project 1950.
Right. Yes.
Is that Project 1950 should have been that song, and they're like, yeah, this is what you want, isn't it, motherfuckers?
Yeah.
And gotten the fuck out of there. And it works. That song works. I love it. That song is how I got, like, I remember I had date girls in high school, and I would play the Misfits. They would be like, what the fuck is this? And then like, because we're all trying to be spooky little punks. Like, you play Saturday Night, and they're like, okay, I get it. It's the gateway point for like
It's
like high school spooky.
Yeah, and
ladies
then
to
you
get
watch
into that.
Nightmare Before Christmas after that, and
Absolutely.
like
Yep.
go get a soda fountain thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do people do? I didn't date in high
You
school.
go to the drugstore.
You go to the drugstore to get a soda.
You go to the drugstore, you get a phosphate.
Yeah, there are just so many songs on this record that just they really ditched that trying to sound hardcore thing on American Psycho, and they're just like, we're really good pop punk now.
There's some shit that is good. Like, here's the thing. Scarecrow Man is insane, but it works.
It somehow works.
Why does that work? I was listening to it. I was like, I am going to hate this. But by the end of it, I was like, nope, I don't. It's
Yeah.
stupid as fuck.
So
Yeah.
it
That's
feels
the one.
like our like the thing that we're coming to here is that we all really like this album, right?
So good.
What do you think? Do you really like this
I
album?
actually thought it was really fun. Like I said earlier, it was something that like there's so many like I don't want to say cheesy, kind of like kitschy elements to it that
you
like
can say cheesy. It
I
is
think you'd be
100%.
right.
But I mean, but it's like so enjoyable. It's like so fun, and like the songs are really catchy. Like and like all of them have like very different feels from each other. So I don't know. I was surprisingly entertained.
Was there what on this album didn't we like?
I guess, yeah, we're going reverse now because we like this is
We
the
like
opposite
most
the,
of this album.
I like most of this album.
And I feel like in the spirit of this podcast now we have to be negative.
yeah.
Sure.
I don't like that song you don't like.
Oh, Fiend Club.
No, I don't like that
Oh
song at
no,
all.
so we had a disagreement about
Fiend
Fiend.
We had a Fiend Club.
Is that Alex and I are fully
it
on
slaps
we are
hard.
in the Fiend.
It's
The
So, we are
beginning
in
of it, the beginning of it, where it sounds like a really like the beginning.
Yeah, it sounds like
that
they've
rules.
been like locked in a fucking spooky crypt for 20 years and all they've heard when they got out was Nirvana.
Yeah, here's that. Yes, exactly. When that song started, I was like, and the verse came in.
Yeah.
The verse is beautiful. Maybe Michael Graves' best verse.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. I was so motherfucking excited for what the chorus was going to be because I was like, this is my song. This is the best song in the album. This is going to be the best song they ever wrote with Graves. And then it turns into a fucking Epcot Center jingle for themselves. It's literally like, you should buy a t-shirt. Please buy a t-shirt. It's fucking
Totally.
horrible. I was so
I totally
angry.
agree. But it's also like it doesn't even have that enough to be like a main part of the song where there's like clapping and singing. And if it was like a huge quiet part where they were just doing that for a while, I'd be like, okay, maybe this is part of the song. But it just kind of is in there for a second and
Yeah,
then goes
it just
away.
is
love
shoehorned in
It's
there.
so
Yeah.
funny. It's like the log ride at Disneyland where like
Yeah.
going up, it's like, we're going to get you, Brer Rabbit. And then you just fall down and everyone's singing on like a boat. It's like happy.
Yeah.
Like, were
it
you
rules.
terrorized? Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love it.
They did that on both records. Is they have songs that they wrote because they felt that they had to for their legacy. Like,
Sure.
they have an album called Walk Among Us, so they wrote a Walk Among Us song on American Psycho. They wrote Crimson Ghost because that's what their fucking symbol is.
Of course.
Because they're like, we need to have a Crimson Ghost song. And then they were like, we have a shirt that says The Fiend Club.
Right.
The Fiend Club is a real thing.
Yes.
For Danzig, it's how you would get a Misfit shirt.
Yes.
Is by joining his like weird mailing list, and he would make you a shirt and send it to you, and it was an adorable thing. And then it's not even their, it's Danzig's thing, and they're writing a song about it as if it's their. It is just an advertisement, and I was like, oh, I was actually getting into this as an actual song.
I love the audacity of it though, because I mean it's Michael singing the song. It's so outrageous for him to just put a huge middle finger up to Glenn and being like, I'm singing about your mail-in that you know what I mean?
Right.
That's
now we
so
have it
punk
on
rock.
the internet.
Like,
it is kind of very
That is
fun.
actually so like
it's super
badass.
rad. Because he's like not the tough guy. Danzig is technically the tough guy, so it's very fun for him to be like, fuck you, I'm now kind of
He's
cool.
technically the tough guy.
Yeah, I technically am now tough guy.
Yeah. You're right. Actually, now from that perspective, I'm like, that is punk. In this Misfits world of punk where it's just a merch fight,
Yeah.
that is a very punk move to
Merch
be like,
fight
we're
would be
writing
the best punk band. We have to
Oh
start
my
that.
God.
merch fight.
Merch fight
Can
is a
I be
great
your
band.
merch fight
Yes.
merch chick?
Yeah. The merch go for merch fight? Yes. Okay. Also, Helena, what do we think? I thought when I was a kid and I heard that song,
Loved it.
I was like, this is cool. They're doing a thing. But now listening to it, I don't think that's
I'm uncomfortable. Although
Helena
it
is the one that's just like if you just hit skip through a Metallica best of, right?
Yeah, well, no, they literally do when they go to the fast riffy like Avenged Sevenfold Metallica part. There's literally just doing Metallica. They're just singing the ending of Sanitarium. It's the same melody.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
yes.
And then they do,
So
It's
weird.
the same.
and then they do what's the other one that they do at the end?
Oh, they do Creeping Death.
They do Creeping Death, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking what? The nerve.
The nerve.
Yeah.
And is that the one also with the weird volume turned down bit?
No, that's them. That is the most forgettable song in the record. You like it. Alex Clute likes
No,
it.
we were
What
arguing.
is that song
We were
called?
arguing over Hunting Humans, which
Oh, you're right.
absolutely owns and is the best. And the dropout where you only hear snare is the coolest part about
There's-
it.
But you
It's the
don't
most
only
forgettable
hear
one.
snare. That's the problem. Is you do the
That's-
dropout and there's the snare hit, and then you can hear the producer turn the volume down. Just
writing.
Yeah. Yeah, they were clearly trying to just get the feedback out of like Doyle's guitar and everything. And they're like, I guess we have to. This is the only way this is gonna work is by just doing a volume turn. That's
It's not
crazy.
even a cut. It's a volume turn down.
That's
really
It's
so
like they didn't
funny.
have the technology at the time.
It's
Like,
so
I don't know,
nuts.
just turn it down. It's
That
fine.
was automation in Pro Tools in 1999.
Yeah.
I was saying when we were listening to it before that it's like the sound of the snare hit with like the volume turned down thing is like the musical equivalent of that part of Star Wars A New Hope at the end of the fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader when he's like kind of like twirling his lightsaber a little bit and you keep seeing it shrink a little bit.
Right.
And you're like, I'm not sure if this is intentional or if he's supposed to be like turning it down a little bit. Like, can you turn a lightsaber
Turn
down?
it into like a light dagger. Like
It's so good. I love it so much. That song owns.
Does it own?
It
I just think
owns.
it's the most like forgettable part of the album. Like them and Hunting Humans, like that whole area is like you could have left them out. We
They
could have
could-
just gone. We could have gone Descending Angel, Helena, and then we're done.
I think they could have left out almost all of these songs and nobody would be like that. I mean, they could have not made the record. But I think the great thing about this record is you go into every song being like, I'm not going to like this. And by the end of the song, regardless of what song it is, you're like, yes, that ruled. It's like going on a roller coaster
You're
ride.
actually right. That's kind of what it is. It's like
It's fun.
it's your friends taking you to a haunted house. You're like, I'm like,
This is going to suck.
this is gonna suck. And by then you're like, all right, this
I
You're
guess
like,
it was
oh,
cool.
dude, that,
okay, fine.
that skeleton lead singer ruled.
That's exactly what that's the best definition of that's exactly what Michael Graves era Misfits is.
Yeah.
Is you're like, no, I don't want to. And by then you're like,
It's going to
Okay.
be fun,
Yeah,
Jordan.
it's like
gonna
having a
be
nice
yeah.
dinner at
fun.
Jekyll and Hyde's.
yeah.
It's like the analogy from last time. They
Yeah.
are Jekyll and Hyde's, but it's at the end of your dinner at Jekyll and Hyde's when you realize that it was actually quite good.
Yeah, quite fun.
Yeah.
What a
Fair
good
enough.
job.
I've never
go to
eaten at
Jekyll
Jekyll.
and Hyde's. Is it even still there?
Okay. Favorite songs on the record. Let's start with Alice Clute.
I think, boom, right out of the gate, Forbidden Zone. Boom.
Forbidden Zone.
It's so good.
I will admit that I really wanted to listen to that song a lot.
Yeah.
This
In and out, no fat on it, super weird.
It's good.
Stupid, awesome, great singing, cool harmonies, and fun. Boom, they did it.
It is super fun. It sounds like the best like schlubby sci-fi theme song for like a 90s show.
Totally.
It's so great.
And it's like such insurance for you, like, guys, we promise the record doesn't suck. Keep listening, you know?
Yeah. That's the thing is like that sound like they all sound like really fun theme songs for 90s TV shows that I would watch.
Totally, I would watch that.
I've never seen The Forbidden Zone, the movie, but I would watch that TV show in the 90s starring children probably.
And Michael Graves.
Yeah, I'm on board for it. It's great. Jeremy.
I'm going with Fiend Club.
Hell yeah.
I love Fiend
We
Club.
can't have one episode where there's just not like this is just it's always going to be that.
This is not a hot take. This is 100% that song rips. It's so good.
Rips hard.
I don't care.
That chorus you think is great?
Rips hard.
I love it. Yeah. I think it's great. I think the only critique I have of that song is that they never do a bit where they cut the guitar and bass and they just do the drums and the vocals doing like a gang vocal version of the chorus and then coming back into it to do it one last time.
See, I think those songs sound like two completely different songs. Like I want the chorus of what I didn't see the title was Fiend Club, so I was only going on like I was just walking around.
Yeah.
And when the song happened, I was just hearing this. And I just expected something different. I expected like a really cool like Typo Negative style chorus or something.
Yeah.
And I was so on board. I think maybe the difference is you guys saw that maybe the title of the song was Fiend Club as you were listening to it.
Right.
So it wasn't completely shocking that it was just. It was like I was listening to a song and then a YouTube ad happened in the middle of the song, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
That's so
But
great.
it's it is the song.
Although I have to, as a Graves era apologist person, thinking of you, sort of like the stand-in classic Misfits fans' face dropping as they hear that chorus, it's so satisfying. I'm like, yeah, fuck you guys. We're dumb now.
You just it's not bad. It's just disappointing how good the rest of the song.
Yeah.
I think separate like if the Fiend Club was just drum and bass like the whole time, and then guitar only comes in on the chorus, and the rest of it was just like a stompy,
Yeah.
like Brain Eaters type thing.
Yeah.
I would like that song.
Totally.
I don't think that these two pieces of the song go well together.
It totally sounds like they wrote two different songs and put them together. but
Okay, cool.
I
As
still
long
like
as that's the acknowledgement.
Yeah,
Totally
I just don't
acknowledged.
think that that's...
You can like it.
I don't think that is A, a bad thing, or B, a discredit to the song. I think the other pieces of the song, even if I didn't like the chorus, which I do, even if I didn't like the chorus, I'd think that the verses are good enough that it makes up for the chorus.
100%. No. It is 100% no. This is wrong.
What about like a Green Hell though? Green Hell does that exact same thing. Here in the blade, lies on me to your end.
No, that song.
It's like totally a Graves song. You know what I mean? Just
What?
Green Hell. It has like that crazy hardcore verse, and then the chorus is like kind of poppy.
It's still using the same chords.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's in the same idea, and the drums are the same the entire
It's not
time.
as drastic, but I do think it's sort of similar. Do you know what I mean? That it's sort
Not really. There's just the slight melody in Green Hell is not a problem. It's just a part of a chorus. Like I think it all works in that song. It's all part of the same thing.
Here's my defense of the weird abrupt cut from those verses to those choruses is I've been playing Breath of the Wild, and there's a game mechanic in
This
it.
is the second time you've brought up Breath of the Wild on this podcast.
I don't think it is. I don't think I brought it up on the podcast before.
Oh, okay.
But either way,
We just hang out too much.
I'm playing Breath of the Wild, and there's a mechanic in the game where you jump off of a cliff, and you have this glider that you like pull out, and you glide down to the ground.
Shit, yeah.
And so the way that this song sounds to me is the verses are Link running through the forest, running up the mountain, right? And then it like builds up to the beginning of the chorus, right? The evil all the time, right? And that's him getting to the cliff, and then he jumps off and he glides, and that's the fucking chorus.
Yeah,
as
no.
you're in the middle of
Shit,
like this
you're
wide open area.
Yes, glide chorus.
He's wrong.
I agree. I like, but see, there's so many songs like that I love that like build up and then it like becomes a different song. But with this song, like it just seriously sounds like they made 2 songs, couldn't finish them, and then like slapped one in the middle, and that's the only way that it sounds to me. But that's just I don't know.
It definitely
I
does.
agree.
That's your
That's-
opinion.
Like as I've composed songs like with a riff and I don't know where it's gonna go.
Yes.
And then you just write a poppy chorus because you don't know what else to do. That's what this sounds like. It sounds like they didn't have a better idea for this chorus and they shoved it together. They were like, I guess I could see them like in the studio shoving that song together and going like, I mean, it's a shame that riff, but that
That's a
riff
real
is so
fucking,
good, and
that's a
we
real
have
fucking
to
shame.
write fiends. Like we have to write a Fiend Club song. It might as
Yeah, we
well
have to
be
justify this merchandise.
this. Yeah, we have to. I figured like that was like you could see like that's totally like a marketing game. Like you got to write the Fiend Club song. We're gonna put it on the site with there's the internet now. It's gonna be play when you go to the shirts section of the website.
Right. You're the boss,
No,
Jerry.
not even the shirt section, the everything section, because the Misfits merch store is just Target, but there's skulls on it.
Yeah, this is a fun fact about the Misfits merch store, but did you guys know that it is the world's 4th biggest economy?
What?
Just
what?
behind California?
California.
No, I'm... what?
What?
No.
The look on
Scared me.
Jordan's
I was
face
scared.
is
I don't know. The world's
incredulous.
weird.
How did that just work? How did I just sell you all on that
Because
bit?
of course something weird like that would be
True.
a thing in
Yeah.
in this world.
That I'm like,
Everything's
I'm
so
down to
weird
believe
right now.
anything. Like
Yeah.
whatever.
You could I'm the most gullible person in the world based on just everything that's happening. You can tell me anything
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yep.
probably.
Like
Yep.
probably.
There was a North Korea and American summit meeting with Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
If you
can
told
yeah.
me that a year ago, I would not believe you.
You'd be like, that is a terrible
2 years
Saturday
ago.
Night Live
I don't.
sketch.
Everything is a blur. We
I
can't.
found a YouTube account that is it's a furry guy who dresses like a sexy fox, but he's also really into gun rights, and all of his videos are him in his
man.
fursuit shooting.
Yeah,
He
there's-
probably lives in Colorado. I'm from there. It's
2018
okay.
rules. I love it.
Nadia, favorite song.
Okay, so I was gonna agree and say that was it Forbidden Zone? It was like my favorite because it sounds like Mars Attacks, and I was really excited about it. It just reminded me of like kitschy sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
But for the sake of like, just being different, like I'll say Descending Angel because it sounds like 50s goth prom and like I'm into it.
Right.
Oh, did you mean Saturday Night?
Or Saturday
Yeah,
Night, yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading the thing
Right.
and I couldn't, because I'm such a huge Misfits fan, guys.
Of course.
I know everything about this band.
An OG Fiend Club.
Yeah, exactly.
OG Fiend Club member Nadia Conteadas.
Yep.
You have a weird fit, a shirt that's probably way too wide, and it's off center with the printing. It's really funny that you brought up Mars Attacks because on the last record they have a song called Mars
What?
Attacks,
Yeah.
and it's insane.
I got super confused for a sec. I was like, what?
Oh,
She meant,
sorry,
like, the
everyone.
movie-
I meant like the
Mars
movie
Yeah, I
that
thought
I
we were
walked
gonna have
out
to
of when I was a
restart this.
child because I was so scared. But
I was scared of that when I was
I
a kid
was
too.
terrified
yes.
of it.
It
Oh,
was
so scary.
Yeah, favorite song, Descending Angel. It sounds the least like a Misfits song from anything they've ever done. It's
Yeah.
an incredible performance from Graves. Like just the different ways he's singing the line Descending Angel. The song is just him trying to figure out each way he can fit
Yeah,
that melody in
what's
there.
the
Like at the end, we're
melody?
like, Angel. At the end is amazing.
It's like the producer had like not quite had the idea for how it was going to go yet, and he's like, "Give me like 7 options."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, he's like, "All right, that's a make."
Yeah, I think
Done.
you got it.
I guess
okay.
we're doing
Good
all
job.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the verse is really like catchy on that song. Like,
What's the verse
especially
again?
this- what?
What's the verse again? On
Like-
Descending Angel?
We came from the heavens, they fell from the sky.
Oh, yeah.
Around the street, around.
It's such an anime
This,
song.
it's great. I think my favorite part of the song is the beginning of like the second verse because like the rhythm of it. He just has like the best verse rhythm, just like. Born from an Ada in the It's so good. It's just like he's like really feeling himself in that moment.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's just got it just feels really satisfying.
Yeah.
And also that fucking walking bass
Crazy.
rips.
Yeah.
It slaps. It whips ass. Anyway.
Yeah, should we move on? I posted again what album we were doing, and we got a bunch of...
Let's do the Instagram comments, and then Nadia has a story.
Okay. User JJours19 says, "Oh dear God, no! Go easy on her."
Who? The album?
Her
Yeah.
album?
Or the album to us? Is he worried about us listening to it?
Unclear.
Or should we...
We could look at it from both perspectives.
easy on
Here's the thing. The album was very gentle to us, and I think we all enjoyed it, so hooray.
Yeah.
User J Denio says, "So I'm actually gonna have to listen to this album? Thanks."
But you're welcome, fucker.
But also, you're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, do you
'Cause
think
this
that there's
rips.
fair criticism of like why someone shouldn't like? Is it just that do people not like this album because it's just not Danzig Misfits?
I'm pretty
or is
sure
there
that's
a
why
reason to
people-
not like it?
I think even if you just straight up the instrumentation and how like operatic and like theatrical it is, if you didn't like that because you like the original Misfits, totally valid. You know what I mean? It's totally different. They sound totally different.
They
you
do
know?
sound very different. Like I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's fine.
User Brick Shasty says, "Dear God, don't make it another hour-long episode filled with tangents, please." Sorry, Brick.
Too late.
Isn't that what
No
podcasts
deal.
are?
I
That
did
is
get.
exactly what a
Yeah,
podcast
that's
is.
what it
Yeah,
is.
it
Just,
is.
I don't think you like podcasts.
I will.
User
Yeah.
Black Hole Pun says, "Pick an album that is actually shitty." Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you're
That's
correct.
my boy.
Okay, cool.
That's my
Yeah.
boy
Black Hole
right
Pun,
there.
Fair.
you're getting an Amazon gift card.
Shit.
It's only for 75 cents. Don't go nuts.
That's amazing.
Oh, and this is one more that, Alex, maybe you have some insight on.
Sure.
This is user O Sacred Hops says, "Can you all talk about Graves coming out to support George Bush?"
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, it's at this point. I mean, back in 2000, yes, in 2004, the idea that there was a Republican punk or something. I mean, this was the height of NoFX being fucking, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember going to the Warped Tour. I guess 2004 was the re-election, right?
Yeah.
I remember the Warped Tour that summer, and every band found a way to shoehorn in
Yes.
voting for John Kerry.
Yeah, sure. Anti-Flag, NoFX, Bad
Well,
Religion.
but then, like, bands you wouldn't expect also, like Flogging Molly.
yeah,
I
Real Big
remember
Fish, or
they
like,
were-
guys, you gotta vote.
Oh, he moved away from it. He's not a. I don't know.
Well, so I pulled up an article from the time period called "Meet the Pro Bush Punks." I'll just read this.
Oh God, go easy on her.
Was it?
So scared right now.
This is from. This is a quote from Michael Graves from this article about pro Bush punks.
Oh no.
He says, "You could say." We're anti-establishment, says Michael Graves, conservative punk columnist and frontman of Gotham Road. I think in American mainstream culture, the cool thing to do now is to hate the government and speak out against the war.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
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 always
literally-
what. Even on paper, that's what punk is
yeah.
about.
That
Yeah.
Being against a war and fucking
and being
hating the government.
anti-establishment.
Yeah.
there's
That's
no,
the whole thing.
That was nonsense.
That's why the Misfits are about horror movies,
Sure.
right? Is because otherwise they'd have to have come out and said, like, no, we're meatheads from New Jersey and this is what we believe.
Yeah.
And then punks back then would have been like, no.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
that
not
makes a lot
doing
of sense.
this.
I would also argue it's like, what do you think? Jerry's a fucking liberal guy? It's
No,
like,
I don't think
you
any
know
of
what I
them
mean.
No.
At the time, it was very.
I've seen the
controversial.
rig rundown.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
we can
Danzig
just stack
is a
them to the
liberal,
ceiling.
even though he got a lot of shit last year for like some comments, but it's not that he's conservative; it's that he's stupid.
Yes.
Like everyone was like, he's for like anti-immigration stuff. Is like, no, he was expressing his border concerns based off of like him forgetting to declare merch when he was going to Canada. That is the
That's
only
so
thing that
funny.
happened.
Oh my god.
He's like, we got a border crisis. I can't sell my T-shirts.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. And then someone called him out. Here's the thing. Someone called him out for like he was like, he hates Planned Parenthood. He's like, no, read the statement. He says, I love Planned Parenthood, but he also believes that they sell body parts. Which, of course, the guy.
he
That
does.
fucking rules, though.
I would go there. That's cool. I gotta write a fucking song
They tear
about that.
apart dead babies, but I think that's
It's
fucking
pretty
really
fucking
fucking
brutal.
sick.
I don't know if I agree with it, but
He's for it as a concept, but of course the guy who has a song about wanting a skull thinks there's a store where you can go get one.
Yeah, I'm gonna salvage your
love
spinal
this.
remains. Like
I
that's
love
this
picturing
dude.
him just like on CNN, just being like, "We're gonna build a wall, and Jerry Only's gonna pay for
Jerry
it."
Only's gonna pay.
I know. He's making comments from his own perspective, not
Yeah.
because he thinks that there's no one coming for Danzig's job. You can't do that. Like, he doesn't think anything, nothing is in his way.
He wants to build a wall exclusively around Michael Graves' house. I know.
I don't ever want to see
We
him
need
again.
to keep Graves out of this country.
We need to keep everyone away from me because I don't like anybody. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
The Great Danzig
He
Wall.
lives in the smallest little world.
I know. And you know what? I get it. There's nothing good outside of it. Danzig makes so much sense to me. Stay 15 forever. Be a little weird goth prince. Don't shave your head when you should. Just why not? The world is. Here's the thing. If Danzig changed, if Danzig accepted his age and the world around him, he wouldn't be happier. He's as happy as he's gonna get, and he's a grump, and it's fine.
That would be amazing.
Live in your fucking weird Looney Tunes house. Don't get married because he's making the right choices.
It would be so funny if he had like a Henry Rollins turn where like he suddenly had like a radio show and was friends with Tom York and shit. It'd be
Yeah.
so funny.
That would,
That's the thing. Is Henry Rollins happier than Danzig?
He's
no,
gotta
he's not.
be.
He's definitely, yeah.
He definitely
Happier
is.
Yeah.
than Danzig?
Yes.
Henry Rollins? I
It's-
don't agree with you.
He must be. He has that cool haircut.
he's yeah. I mean, I don't know. He might be. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he enjoys being his persona more than Danzig. I don't know.
Danzig has way more money. He lives in his own little world and doesn't have to think about stuff.
But like this
Yes,
is just
more money.
reminding me of the Target story.
Henry Rollins.
Oh,
has
yeah,
been
we gotta
in
tell
so
this
many
Target story. What is
movies
this?
And television shows. He probably made so much money off of what do you call it? The
The fucking show, yeah.
the motorcycle one, the Nazi one.
No, because he doesn't get royalties from that. Here's the,
motorcycle
He
Nazi
plays like a white
Sons of
nationalist.
Anarchy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, do you know why Jack Nicholson is so rich? It's not because Jack Nicholson is making all of the Jack Nicholson movie money. It's because Jack Nicholson took the merch rights for Batman. That is
I didn't
his
know that.
fortune. Did you not know
No,
that?
that's
I did not know
crazy.
that.
Yeah. He makes so much money from Batman merch.
That rules.
That is the game. Yes.
Even after Heath Ledger.
Yeah, dude. That's the thing is if you take that's why Danzig has more money than Henry Rollins is because it's merch. Merch is how you make that fucking coin,
That's
baby.
true.
Guess that's
I mean,
true.
I mean,
Who didn't have that shirt?
that's very, very true.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I got to tell you the Target story because we've mentioned Target so many times. So I don't know why. I don't know how. I was just like in like Target walking out, and I see this tiny, short little dude in a leather jacket. And he's just got a bag of like Blu-rays, and he's just like all hunched over. He's got two security guards that are like literally at least like a foot and a half taller than him. And I was like, that guy kind of looks like Danzig if he like I don't know, like just was like super hungover or something, and. I was like sitting there like outside just like looking at him like, is that fucking Danzig? Like I know he's playing or whatever. And then some guy like out of nowhere was like, oh my God, can I take a photo with you? And just ran all the way up to him and was like, please, man, please. And Danzig didn't say anything. He just held his bag of DVDs and raised them a little while they like took a photo and then put them down. And then he waved goodbye. He didn't even say anything to this guy. And then he just turned around to his security guard and they were like, all right, we got to get on the bus. And I was like, I can't tell what's happening here, but
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think was in the DVD bag?
I'm sure it was like Transformers 2. And then like, you know,
Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties.
yeah, like something like that.
It's
You just
all
got to
cat
watch it on the
movies.
bus. And eating like fruit by the foot on the bus, waiting for like the show to start. I don't know why. That's like why I imagined him. He's like shirtless and like kendo pants. I don't know. Kendo pants. It's like, I have a very specific like idea of what I think he does because I don't know anything about the Misfits.
That's the thing. Apparently, you know a lot about it because you nailed it. That's exactly what he does.
Exactly correct.
And then, we gotta put a photo of you. It's like,
Oh, God.
in front of Jerry Only.
We'll put that
Oh,
on.
Jerry Only. I was so terrified. Jordan was just like, don't look, but Jerry's behind you. And I made the most terrified face because the only thing I heard about him was that he was super mean.
Yeah, this is for context. This is when we were in Denver at Riot Fest shooting the Carpool Karaoke video, and we were just, I don't know, we were like backstage with Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, and then behind, just behind you was just like Jared. Mind you, it was noon. The Misfits are not going to play until midnight at the minimum.
Yeah.
Like,
it was
so
the longest
he's
day.
Wearing his weird Ninja Turtle costume
All day.
for hours.
Forever with the hair and the makeup and everything, just like pacing back and forth through like the back.
Yeah.
I had no idea what he was doing all day, but we tried harassing him. It didn't
Wearing
work very
foam
well.
spikes for hours.
So funny.
And it was so hot. It was the worst. Oh my God.
The fuck was
They got
he
mad when we tried to take like photos of like their set stuff in the back.
Oh yeah,
I was so pissed. There was like giant pumpkins and stuff. We were like, "Oh, sweet, Instagram," and they were like, "No." Like,
Yeah, of course.
That was my favorite part of seeing the original Misfits at Riot
Yeah.
Fest. Is Drew and I were in the audience freaking out. Like, this is the moment I've been waiting for my entire life, is to see the original, like, just Danzig sing all of the Misfit songs. I honestly couldn't care less if it was like Jerry or Doyle. It's cool that they're there, but I just wanted a full, like, I had always gone to see anything where Danzig is going to sing Misfit songs. But they have the set, there's these two just like plastic pumpkins in the back that are just enormous. And Drew and I are like, this fucking rules, but what the fuck are these pumpkins? Like pointing at them.
like-
And then right after we do that, Danzig just comes out and goes, so how about these pumpkins, right? Pretty fucking cool, right?
Pretty fucking cool pumpkins.
Right? I bet you'd like to have these pumpkins on your lawn for Halloween. And then your neighbor will come over and go, hey, take that shit down. And you'll be like, listen, motherfucker, I'll kill you. This is verbatim,
This is
what he
verbatim
said.
what happened. And then he stopped after one song and then got oxygen.
Yep.
And then, like, it was like the weirdest beginning of a show ever.
That is exactly what
Yeah.
he said, that line verbatim. I
was
bet you'd like
amazing.
to have these on your lawn
on
during
your lawn.
Halloween. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And because he's talking about it in the context of you'd like this for Halloween on your lawn, I am 100% picturing those inflatable lawn
They
pumpkins.
literally
they
look
are.
like that.
Yeah.
That's
They
what it
literally
is.
They have
look
like a,
that.
I think one of,
It
I
looked
think
like
they
a-
have,
It looked like a fabric store, like Halloween display. Like
I'm
it had
pretty
like
sure one of them has
glitter
a
tombstones.
snaggletooth.
Yeah, like it definitely looked like they sourced the largest like Halloween items from like Michael's and Joanne Crafts, and we're just like, just
Yeah.
put it on stage. We
Of
don't have
course.
it
anything.
looks like
Yes.
two long meat wad things.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Yep.
So good.
Got to find a picture.
You
now.
know that's not a hypothetical story. That's a real thing that he did.
That's way too
100%.
specific.
There's
of a
no
poll.
way.
No, you
that's,
can't, because he still had his house at the time, and his house was too small to have these pumpkins.
No way. He definitely put him up. His neighbor came over. He said, "Hey, take that shit down." Danzig
I'll
said,
bet you
"I will
anything.
kill you."
That's the
kill
part that's
you.
misrepresented. Was that his neighbor came over? He said, "Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn, could you? We asked you about the pumpkins, and they're still up.
Still up. You know, it's like
And, like,
December,
I
and
hate to point it out for you, but like your lawn is kind of small, and these pumpkins are quite large, and like it kind of also just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So maybe you might want to think about taking. Hey, listen, motherfucker, I'll kill you.
Kill you.
And then this nerd who lives next door punches him, and he's knocked out immediately.
Yeah. All right, that does it for Famous Monsters. Jeremy, you want to do a plug?
Yeah, sure. You can find me on Twitter at Jeremy Thunder. And if you like The Hard Times, we do a live comedy show for it here in New York City at Tender Trap. That is on July 6th at 8 o'clock. Come check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Alex Clute.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any plugs.
Nadia,
I don't do anything. I'm just here to make comments on stuff in life.
you got an Instagram and shit.
I've got an Instagram and a Twitter if you want to like listen to all my or like read all my bad jokes, but it's just _. If you've ever seen Aqua Teen Hunger Force, then maybe you'll get that. But that's how cool I am.
Yeah.
Weed.
Weed. Colorado
Motherfucking
stuff.
Weed. All right, yeah, you can find me at Mr. Jordan Knowles on Twitter, at Dr. Mayer on the Instagram. Yeah, tonight is our, this is coming out on Monday, so tonight is our taping of the Hard Melissa full episode. The full Hard Melissa's taking over 2 Minutes to Late Night. She has a talk show. Her house band is Warren Women. Her guest is Miss Eves, the rapper. It's going to be better than probably a regular episode, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
She's going to do a better job. It's going to rule.
And it's really funny. We worked really hard on it. I'm so excited for it.
I'm so excited. It's going to be great. All right, go poke yourself in the eye. Bye, everybody.